Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport on YouTube. And we're touching a different sport this week. My God, we really are Let's Talk Sport, because I'm with Dan Middleton, our old face from back on the radio days, and of course our Leicester City fan as well. But well, this week we're going to talk about the big Super Bowl 55. And I must admit, I don't normally watch the NFL, but this year has been very exciting to watch, especially when you're at home doing jack shit on the weekends because we can't do anything else. Dan, how are you?
Very well, yeah. Good to be back. I suppose this is like a little cameo appearance, I guess. You get to see my beautiful face, not just the radio face of old. So yeah, no, good to be back. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, let's preview the Super Bowl.
It's like the Michael Scott cameo in The Office, US Office, when he just comes back and he goes, "That's what she said." It's like, he's back. But Dan, of course, the Super Bowl this year is between Kansas City Chiefs, who won it last year, up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But not just any normal Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, who'd have thought at the start of the season, in his first stint with the Buccaneers, he's taken them to the Super Bowl? But that's just a normal season for Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's done brilliantly well. But I also think he's had the right sort of weapons around him. Look at Mike Evans has been absolutely outstanding at wide receiver for him. He's been his main red zone target and just all out fantastic wide receiver. Obviously, we've got Gronkowski, who's been a little bit more bit part this year for the Bucs. He's played a good role for them, especially against the Packers. He was good, and but he's been a little bit sort of hit and miss. Like I said, they focused on Mike Evans. They focused on Godwin as well. He's been brilliant for the Bucs, and I think they've done quite well. And they've finally got a running offense now with Leonard Fournette. I think he's been a massive bright spark for the Bucs, and he'll cause the Chiefs a lot of problems if they can get the run game going. I think the Bucs have got a chance.
I think if I can remember as well, I think with Gronkowski, he hasn't featured that much because I mean, it's weird. Maybe money does talk, but before that season, he looked to be retiring for sure. You know, he even did videos on YouTube about, you know, the injuries you can get after you finish NFL. You know, brain damage, all sorts of things, and he feared for that. And that was the main reason he retired. But I guess for him, really, sometimes seasons like this, if you could just get one more Super Bowl, hey, it's worth the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, he'd have been convinced by Tom. Should we do this one more time? It's like a hero speech, isn't it? It's like a superhero movie. And yeah, I think that's what it would have been. Let's do this one more time. Let's do this thing one time over. And you know, if we can get to the Super Bowl, great. If we do get there, if we go on to win it, even better. Okay, then we'll call it quits from there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking ahead to the game, I think Brady and Gronk. I think Gronk's going to have to step up this week. I think he could be a big part in how the Bucs prepare for this game because of that Chiefs defense, which I think has been lights out for the past few weeks and pretty much most of the season. Tyrann Mathieu, again, the Honey Badger, he's been outstanding, and against the Browns, he was arguably the best player on that field and picked Baker Mayfield with an outstanding interception. So he's going to be the guy that's going to lead that Chiefs defense. But up front, the Chiefs have got serious power. Chris Jones, of course, he'll be looking to sack Brady. And the way to beat Tom Brady is to get him out of the pocket and make him less comfortable. If Tom Brady stands in the pocket and he's got all the time in the world and all the time in the whole of Tampa,
he'll nail it. Yeah.
He's going to nail it and he's going to be lights out because that's what Tom Brady does. He thrives on these sorts of occasions. Whether the Bucs' offensive line is going to stand up to that Chiefs defense is another question altogether. But if Tom Brady does get that time in the pocket, it's going to be problems for the Chiefs defense, and they're going to have to try and shut down the likes of Mike Evans in all four quarters of the field. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I think it'll be a very, very good game. And we've not even spoken about the Kansas offense.
No.
We'll get on to that very shortly.
I think one more thing about the Buccaneers, you couldn't write the season with the fact that it's going to be in Tampa Bay as well.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And the good thing is there will be at least limited fans, so maybe that's a downer on Chiefs because there might be a lot. Obviously, they'd probably be expected to be a lot more Buccaneer fans, but at least there's going to be some fans there to witness what could be a great day in the Buccaneers' history.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all being well, hoping that I'll be in Florida in August, but I'm not holding my breath. So it would have been
Get
brilliant.
this guy to Florida.
If Tampa go on to win it at their home ground, and I don't get to go to Florida this year as we'd had planned as a family holiday, because I was planning on going to Tampa for that reason, not to go to the stadium and hope there's a stadium tour and it'd be
yeah.
Bowl at our place. It's written, but I can't. With the way the situation is at the minute in the world, I can't see us going. But yeah, it's brilliant for the Bucs, and I'll come on to the predictions later on, but I hope that they do it. I hope that they get over the line.
And to stop them from getting over the line is the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, I mean, can I just praise Mahomes? I mean, what a player! I mean, there's already this American media going on about he's got to beat Brady to prove to be the best, which he still needs to win a lot of Super Bowl rings to actually be on the same level, you could say, of Brady, of having a consistent career and guiding a team to become that big franchise. But the Chiefs this season, I mean, Mahomes last week, I mean, I watched them against the Buffalo Bills, Dan, and they just looked like the team to beat.
I mean, Coach Reid, he's the one that just lets Mahomes do his thing. I think the offense that they've got is so complementary of Mahomes' ability. I think every single little piece just clicks. The whole thing just clicks. It's like one well-oiled machine. It's such a joy to watch. And that Bills team, I was so gutted for them because I thought they'd had an outstanding season. Josh Allen has been arguably the best quarterback in the league, bar the likes of Mahomes. Josh Allen stepped up this year. Stephon Diggs stepped up. And I was so gutted that they didn't beat the Chiefs and reach that Super Bowl. But it says a lot about the Chiefs that they were pretty much able to shut down that Bills offense last week. And then they were almost unstoppable offensively. Tyreek Hill is not on this planet with some of the routes he makes, his speed, his agility, his vision of the game. He's unplayable. Travis Kelce, probably the best tight end in the history of the game. He's outstanding. He's racking up yards every single game. Sammy Watkins, again, another big plus for them. Le'Veon Bell, who came in from the Jets, he's been a big part of their run offense. So they've got weapons across the pitch of the Chiefs. And Mahomes' arm, Mahomes is running as well. Not to forget that Mahomes can run with that ball if needed. It's almost unstoppable, and it's going to be a massive, massive task for that Bucs defense to try and put a stop to what is this Kansas City juggernaut that can hang 30-plus points on any team at any given point. If Mahomes starts well and doesn't get picked and completes passes, he says he's 5 for 5 for 60 yards or whatever it might be, and he starts to get into a rhythm and that Bucs defense doesn't bring any pressure, it's going to be a long day for Tampa. And I think the likes of Tyreek Hill, of course, Kelce, will have massive games because they're too good. They are. You're going to have to bring pressure and you're going to have to double up on them as best you can. The issue with that then is if you start doubling up on players like Hill and Kelce, the other players start to then become a big part because you're not really guarding for them. So Sammy Watkins could have a massive game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if he's available at running back, he'll have a massive game. So the options are there for Andy Reid and the Chiefs. It's how they utilise them and whether they stick to what's worked and go all guns blazing, go on then Tyreek, run for 60 yards and I'll bomb you the ball. Or do they play it slightly differently with the Bucs anticipating everything going to Hill, Kelce, and go somewhere a little bit different, and then before you know it, right, that will open up Tyreek Hill because they haven't targeted him yet. All right, then you can go for your 60-yard dash. Touchdown. So how they play it is going to be very, very interesting from a Kansas point of view. Like I said, if Mahomes gets into a rhythm, it
It's
could
going to
be
be
over.
hard.
It could be over by the second quarter.
Yeah, and who knows then? And they'll look, and maybe they'll enjoy their halftime show with the weekend, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Which a lot of people talk about instead of the match, which is rather annoying. But I guess, I mean, there was that moment, wasn't there, last week against the Bills when I think it was Hardman who made that big blunder from a punt as well. Buffalo Bills, I think, were very surprised from a punt to actually get a touchdown. I can't believe what I was seeing. But I guess with Mahomes, there was footage of him on the sidelines going up to Hardman and just I wouldn't say shaking him, but he was just giving him that motivation, saying, we're human, just do it. We can turn this around. And I guess that's another reason why the Chiefs can always pick themselves up.
Proof's in the pudding, Jamie. The fact that a few plays later they gave it to Hardman and he gained 30 yards on a run.
Yeah.
So, the trust and the belief across that whole team is, all right, yeah, you made a mistake, but you're still a massive part of this offense. And we've not even mentioned him yet. And someone like him, again, goes under the radar a little bit. And he could have a massive game. It's very likely that he'll get quite a few receptions, either out the backfield or just in a running play. Again, he's got every chance. And it could be a special teams play that could be the difference in the Super Bowl. It could be a 60, 70-yard run that changes the dynamic of the game, because all of a sudden, if you've still got someone like Hardman who makes up for that error against the Bills and then comes into this Super Bowl and decides, right, first punt from the Bucs, right, I'm going to take this past halfway and I'm going to show what I'm about.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant, right. Hats off to you, because you didn't let last week affect you. You played well last week, barring that muffed punt, and you come into the Super Bowl completely different person almost, and you've got that confidence that next time the Bucs do punt away, you'll catch it, you'll run, you'll beat a few tackles, and you're past halfway, and all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes has got an outstanding chance of getting 7 points on the board. So, yeah, it could be a special team play that could be the difference, because both offenses are playing really well at the minute, and both defenses, again, have got them there on merit. So, yeah, it's going to be fine margins.
So we come to the predictions. Dan, is it going to be Tom Brady once again, or is Mahomes going to do it for the second year in a row?
It's tough, because if I'm going to be totally honest, as much as I've bigged this game up throughout this show, I'm actually kind of bored of the narratives. It's quite strange for me to come in and give it all this energy, and then for me to drop that sort of bombshell. But I'm bored.
You sold it very well.
I'm bored of Tom Brady's narrative. I must admit, this Tom Brady narrative, he's done brilliantly, don't get me wrong.
It's a team sport.
I'm just bored of the Tom Brady narrative. It's a team game. Okay, whatever. And then I almost don't want the Chiefs to win it back to back, because then it becomes like almost the start of a dynasty, like the old Patriots. I'm kind of in that sort of middle ground where I'd hoped that it would have been the Packers and the Bills. That would have been my ideal final.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted to see Rodgers there.
Yeah, I wanted to see Rodgers in there. I wanted to see Josh Allen in there because he deserved it. But anyway, we've off at a tangent. Like I said, it's going to be fine margins for me. I don't think there'll be much in it. I just think that both offenses are that good. It's going to come down to a play on special teams, and it's also going to come down to a play on defense. I'm going to go... I want Tampa to win because of that home advantage, but I just think the Chiefs are going to be too good offensively. I think Mahomes will start to light it up, and then I think Tyrann Mathieu, I think he's the standout performer on that defense. I think he's got every chance of marking out most wide receivers in the game and being that person that picks off Tom Brady. And we've seen how suspect Tom Brady can be if pressure comes up the middle.
Especially last week.
He just throws. If Tom Brady feels any sort of pressure up the middle and from outside blitzes, he just launches it. And if you're launching it to the best cover corner in the game,
it's going to get intercepted.
It's going to get intercepted.
Yeah.
And it's going to be little margins like that Tom Brady is going to have to deal with, because the Chiefs will bring pressure. They like to blitz. They will bring pressure to Tom Brady because that is the only way to beat Tom Brady. And then it's going to become, right, your safeties, your corners, your linebackers. Daniel Sorensen's had a fantastic season for the Chiefs at linebacker. He's going to be a big part of that Chiefs defense. Yeah, I think the Chiefs will win it, and I think they'll win it based on the defensive performance because, like I said, both offenses are that good. It's going to take a defensive stop to win the game. I think Tyrann Mathieu is going to be the guy to do it, and I think the Chiefs win probably by 3 or 4 points. I don't think there'll be much in it.
See, it feels like, even though I only know the basics, it feels like a Chiefs win favourites in terms of the bookies and all that. So I'm going to have to agree with you there. I think, I mean, one last question actually before we wrap up: is this Brady's last season, regardless?
It depends whether he wins it or not.
I think if he wins it, end it on a high. You don't have anything. He didn't have anything to prove anyway, but to do it with two different teams is very special. It's like the equivalent of Ronaldo doing it in the Champions League with Madrid and United.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And we've already seen Drew Brees, unfortunately, give his time up, and what a servant he's been to the sport.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, again, he'll probably be there next year, but there are talks of Aaron Rodgers not potentially continuing. I as much as I love Tom Brady, and I think he is the GOAT, so to speak, it's almost at a point now where, okay, if you win the Super Bowl, you bow out, like you said, bow out on a high. Okay, let somebody else come in. You've got talent there. If they don't win it, again, it's still a matter of, all right, Tom, you got them to the Super Bowl. You didn't win it. Maybe it's time then you step aside. You give it one last good go. I don't know. I think it's too tough to call. It just depends on how the Super Bowl works out. If Brady gets picked 3 or 4 times, like Roethlisberger did against the Browns, if he goes and gets picked 3 or 4 times in the first 2 quarters,
despite the start of the season he had as well.
This is the thing. It depends on how Brady plays because he'll know. He'll know what his body's like. He'll know what his mental state like. He'll know what the front office are saying to him. He'll know what Coach Arians is saying to him. It all comes down to how he plays at the Super Bowl. So it's tough to make a call now. It just depends, like I said, it depends on what sort of game he has and what sort of game the Buccaneers have.
And of course, they've won a championship as well. So the fact that he's done that, and it's I mean, Buccaneers fans will look at that and think that you're a legend to us either way. What happens? You brought us on this great run in just one season. So it's quite incredible what Tom Brady has done in a very short time. And but yeah, I think I've booked myself a day off, Dan. I view as a good man because I just don't like the idea of going to bed knowing I've got to start in the morning. So I hope you lot at home have done it as well. But Dan, pleasure as always, my friend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and yes, fingers crossed for Tampa Bay ahead of your trip in August.
Well, yeah, let's touch wood across the board, and
it'll happen virtually, at least.
Enjoy the Super Bowl. Get all your snacks in because it's going to be lights out. It's going to be, as much as there's not going to be many fans there are still going to be fans there. You will get an atmosphere. It's going to be great. It is the Super Bowl at the end of the day, the most watched sporting thing in the world. Let's get on it. Let's enjoy it, and let's hope for a fantastic offensive performance from both sides.